I've built a lot of camera rigs on this channel over the years and I love doing it, but I realized that a lot of the parts I use can be pretty expensive. So today we're building a camera rig on a budget. I tried to find the most affordable parts that I could without compromising on quality. So could you find cheaper accessories?
Yes.
Leave a comment below guessing how much do you think this is gonna cost, not including the camera and lens. The camera I'm using today for the build is the Sony FX3 with the 16-35 G Master. But honestly, most of the parts I'm using today will work for any camera. So it doesn't matter whether you're shooting on Canon, Blackmagic, Fujifilm, whatever it is, these parts are pretty universal. Now, with that being said, normally I would start with a camera cage, and this is the half cage for the FX3. But of course, this doesn't work for every camera out there. So we're gonna do this build without a camera cage, which is abnormal for me. So I'm gonna set this aside and it's gonna save us some money on the build today too. The first thing we're actually gonna add is this small rig V-mount battery plate. And I really love this thing. It's just so simple and does a great job. On the bottom of it, it has Arca Swiss. And actually with the base plate comes a little Arca Swiss plate. So if you're not using a cage like we aren't today, you're gonna mount this Arca Swiss plate on the bottom of your camera, just with a 1/4-20 thread. Then we're just gonna throw the camera right onto the base plate here. Okay, so there's the V-mount base plate. Now we just need to throw a V-mount battery on there that's going to power our entire rig. So what I'm using today is this small rig V-mount, and this is the 50 watt-hour battery. So it's a little bit slimmer than their 99 watt-hour, and it's also more affordable. So some of the nice benefits of this is it has USB-C out, which is actually what we're gonna use to power the camera, and most modern cameras today can be powered with USB-C. We have standard USB, and then we have an 8 volt and a 12 volt out barrel connection. And then on the side, we have D-tap, which is great for plugging in all kinds of accessories. Let's get this mounted on. Let's just get a USB-C cable plugged in. Now, I didn't include this into the budget of the build. That might be a little bit of cheating, but I figured that most people have a USB-C cable laying around somewhere in their house or office. The nice thing about this battery plate is it's really adjustable, so you can just loosen this knob and tilt it back so you can flip out your screen if you have a camera with the tilty screen. And now I can see everything without the battery blocking my LCD. What's cool is once I have that flipped out, I can actually slide this in closer to the body of the camera. So you just pull this lever and then you push it in. And now it's much more snug up against the back of the camera. You can see a lot of that gap is gone now, which I prefer to have it nice and snug. The next thing we're gonna add here is a piece of Nato Rail to the top of the camera. So this one is specifically built for the Sony FX3 because it has some interesting spacing between. Your camera may not have mounting spots on the top for a Nato Rail. You might need a cage. But depending on what camera body you have, you might be able to just throw a Nato Rail on top. Now with the Nato Rail mounted on top, we can actually mount the top handle. And what I have here is this small rig Nato mount top handle. And I absolutely love this one because it has some rubber grip on the inside. It has a ton of mounting locations, 1/4-20 threads, area locating pins in the front, cold shoes, all over it, and it's really affordable. It's only 30 bucks on Amazon right now. So great top handle, very sturdy, and it's quickly become my favorite. Go ahead and slide this on. There we go, look at this. It's already shaping up to be a nice little rig, and we haven't even added that much to it yet. The next thing we're gonna add is an external monitor because if you're like me, you know how difficult it is to actually see your focus and exposure with these tiny LCD screens, especially out in bright sunlight. So what we're using today is this new monitor from Viltrox, and I really love this thing. It comes with a case and a ton of accessories. This is a 5.5-inch monitor from Viltrox, the DC550 Pro. And this thing is cool. As you can see, it has a built-in sun hood, so you don't have to pay any extra to get this. And it's spring-loaded. Check this thing out, it's really cool. So one, it just goes right away like that, super compact. And then you can just press this little release button, boom, springs open. I absolutely love that. So this is gonna do a really good job of blocking the sunlight from all different directions and it's a 1100 nits brightness LCD. Now, if you're shooting indoors and you don't need the sun hood, it's really easy to remove. You just simply pop it off and then you can put it off to the side. Now, also in this kit, you get a bunch of other accessories like I mentioned. So it comes with an included Sony NPF battery. And I like this one because you can actually charge it with just a normal NPF charger, or you can recharge it via USB-C, which is pretty cool. I haven't seen that on a little battery like this before. So if you don't want to carry a bunch of different chargers and you just have a USB-C charger, that's really convenient. It also comes with a bunch of different HDMI cables. So depending on what you need, it has full size to full size HDMI, and then it has full size to mini HDMI. There is no micro HDMI adapter here. So you might need that if your camera uses micro HDMI. And then there is also a USB-C cable that you could use to recharge that battery. Now, one more piece that comes with this kit is the little monitor mount. And this thing is pretty solid. It is built of metal. It has just a normal 1/4-20 on there. And of course, you can just screw this right onto the bottom of the monitor. The only thing that I don't like about it is that it's a cold shoe mount, which I typically don't like to mount on top of my top handles, but I will show you just so you can see what it looks like. This is the most affordable option because it comes with the kit. It's definitely really sturdy. It stays where you actually put it. So it's a really nice, stable mount. I could definitely see you using this if you didn't want to spend any more. Now, one of the main reasons I don't like putting my monitors on top of the cold shoe is there's always a risk of it slipping off of the cold shoe, and it makes the setup all a little bit taller. So I'm going to show you an alternative and grab this one from Small Rig. I really like this one because it has area locating pins. So it won't slip or turn or anything on you, and it won't come off easily like cold shoe mounts do. So on the front of this top handle in specific, we have area locating pins. So I'll easily be able to just mount this right onto the front. Now you can see just how low profile this setup is. Instead of having the monitor sit on top of the top handle, now it's forced out in front of the top handle, and I really like that. I think it just looks a lot cleaner. The monitor mount is just as stable. You can tilt it, it stays wherever you put it without any issues. As far as build quality, it's made mostly of hardened plastic, but it feels really solid, and I like all the seams on this. It's really smooth, and it just feels really well thought out. I also really like this silver finish. It just looks pretty clean. Let's take a quick look at some of the software. So you can just double tap on the screen and all your different options pop up. It has all the tools built into it that you would expect. Things like histogram, vectors, parades, waveforms, all those kinds of things built into it. If you want me to do a full deep dive on this monitor, just let me know in a comment below. And at the time of recording, this Viltrox monitor is only $168 US, so it's an absolute steal, especially considering all the accessories that come with it, and the fact that it's a 1000 nits brightness monitor. There's one more thing we still need to add to the rig because it is getting really close, but to make it even more usable, we've got to have ND filters. Because if you're using a smaller mirrorless camera, chances are it doesn't have built-in ND filters. So we're going to be using these ones from Freewell, and I'll show you this. This is a variable ND filter that is magnetic. And I really like this ND filter because one, it's really affordable at only $150. There's some ND filters I bought like from Tiffin that are really close to that price, and they're nowhere near as good. They're just really basic, whereas this has front and rear caps, so your glass is completely protected, and it's magnetic, so it's really easy to mount and take on and off of the camera. So we'll pull out the adapter ring here. You can get them in all different millimeter sizes. I went with 82 millimeters because most of my lenses are 82 millimeter front thread sizes, but you can also always step down. So it's a good idea to get the largest V&D filter that you can afford and then just step down to your smaller lenses. You can simply just magnetically attach this V&D. There we go. It's already in place. And what you need to do is turn these little knobs to lock it down. And I'll show you how you can simply just spin it and you have a great little variable ND filter now attached to the front of the lens. And the quality of this ND filter is really solid, has hard stops built in, so you're not gonna get any cross polarization that, X across your image or anything like that. And it's all built of metal, so nothing on it feels cheap. And when you're done filming, you can simply just throw the little magnetic filter on the front here. There we go. And protect your lens from getting smashed or anything like that. Now, you can also stack additional filters onto it if you want, like this one from Freewell that is a little mist filter. I believe they call it the snow mist filter. Yeah, quarter 20, and it's also magnetic, so you just let go and boom, now you've got a nice mist filter on there. So for those of you that like to run with like a Black Pro mist style with your variable ND filters, it's really easy to just pop on and off with a magnet. But because that does cost a little more, we're not gonna add it to our rig today because we're trying to keep it nice and affordable. Now check this baby out. We've got a full on cine rig built out here on a budget, and it looks awesome. Now let's reveal the total cost of this affordable rig build, and it was $650 US. Now, I know $650 is still a good amount of money, and if you can't get to this point yet, that's fine. I was not there years ago. You can build up to this part by part, piece by piece, until you get exactly what you want. And guys, if you're interested in picking up any of the parts that I used today for this build, they're all listed down below. And special thanks to SmallRig, Freewell, and Viltrox for sending out some of these parts for review. They didn't pay me to say any of this or see this video before posting. All right, I'll see you in the next video.